Hi, I'm here today with Kalmen. Kalmen, you've contacted me after listening to some of my conversations, and you've wanted to, well, you wanted to contribute to the conversation. You've spoken to me about how you like to work a lot and read a lot of philosophy and history, especially I understand Jewish philosophy, and
Yes,
uh, and you are a nurse, right? You work in
yes,
a hospital and you're a nurse in Israel.
yes.
So, just so that our audience is up to speed on that, being a nurse in Israel means, or any work in the hospitals in Israel, means that you work with a lot of Jews and Arabs. The healthcare system in Israel is, well, maybe you can tell us more about it, but I just know that
Yes.
there are a lot of Arabs and Muslims in healthcare
So Arabs, they're not very popular in the high tech, let's say, um,
sector.
um, sector. Not in the military, obviously, and many government associated sectors. So they very invest themselves in the public health because it's a good job and it's very honorable job. And you can many of them want to be a doctor. It's I mean every it's like Jews in diaspora. It's funny, but they every good mother, good Arab mother teaches her son to be a doctor. It's the main goal. So many of them are doctors and nurses. Like half of I think half of the staff in the public hospitals, you can say, I'm not sure about it, but it feels like that. In my where I work, it's definitely half. There are Arabs, Israeli Arabs, yes, that work as nurses, doctors, and all kind
Okay,
of.
so that's an overrepresentation because
Yes,
the share
absolutely.
of the Arab population in Israel is about 20%, so you would expect them to be 20%, but instead you say that they're approximately half or right,
Something like
something
that.
like that. Okay. So what is it about your experiences in your profession that made you want to reach out to me?
Okay, so I go up as an ultra Orthodox community. I learned in the like I say yeshiva. Not I didn't get any formal education. And then in like when I was 20, I felt I missed something, and I started to read Jewish philosophy, mainly of the Rambam,
Maimonides in
um,
English.
Maimonides,
No.
um, what his main philosophic book, the guidance to the perplexed, I
Yes,
think
it's
it's the
called
name.
a guide to the perplexed.
Yes, yes.
It's written
Um,
about
900 years ago.
no, yeah, about 900 years ago. Yeah, in Spain.
Approximately, yes.
Well, not
And
exactly
after that,
Spain.
his nemesis, Chasdai Kreskas, and I made my choices in life, my way, the way I look at Judaism through both of those great Jewish scholar, and and after that I joined the army as a nurse. I learned before I went to the army. I was 4 years an officer in the army as a nurse, and then for the last year I work in a public hospital as a nurse with Arabs, and I consider them to be my friend. You know, my taxi driver who takes me to work. We speak a lot about many things, about the hopes, the way they, and I, because I'm very religious, and most of them are religious people. We talk about religion a lot, and it too. In the beginning, I couldn't understand what they talking about. I couldn't understand them. It was very hard for me to speak to them, and so I decided to learn Quran. So I started to read the Quran, and and now I think I understand them much better, and I have very I have an insight. So
Sure, go
and
ahead. Go on.
what?
Go on.
Okay, so the first thing I want to say, and you had a conversation with young Paul, and after that with Moral, and I think some Arab Muslim who covered his face, and they criticized Judaism a lot about many things. You didn't answer them. You answered the way I think the best you can, but I think that it's the basic um, thing that
Okay, 1 second. Hold on.
yeah,
I'm going to repeat what you've just said to make sure that I'm on track and that the audience is on track. Okay. So basically, you've what you've said is that I've spoken to some people who have criticized Judaism, and you felt that I did not respond to them in the way that I should have, right?
yes,
So
exactly.
could you please, first of all, let us know, because I don't really remember speaking to people who criticized anything so much. So can you tell us what the criticism was in your estimation before you proceed to answer it, and then I will repeat it back to you to make sure that I
All right,
understand.
but not everything is criticism, just assumptions, let's say. So, young Paul asked, the Jews do not believe in heaven and hell. And you said, yes, you think Jews do not believe in heaven and hell. This, for example. Um,
Yeah.
for example. So he said to you, well, Jews believe that God gave us this land. And this is why, this is the reason this is our land, because God gave it to us. This is the religion, right? And it said this is not a claim that he can accept. This is not a valuable claim. No one can accept this. Just okay. So you said you think that. So what?
Okay, so
Right?
your argument is that when he presented Israel as belonging to the Jewish people according to Jewish faith, I should have
Yeah.
said that this is not a valid argument and it's not something that we should take seriously. Is this your claim?
No, this is not what the main. This is not the claim of the Jews. Really, this is what
Okay. So,
according to Jewish philosophy.
okay, so your claim is that according to Jewish philosophy, it is not the principal claim that God has promised the Jews the land of Israel,
Exactly.
right? Okay, so tell us a bit about that in your estimation.
Okay. So the thing I will throw the bomb. Jewish um, Judaism, it's not a religion, okay? It's not a religion. If you define religion the way you think about religion, like Islam or Christianity or Buddhism, so Jewish is Judaism, sorry, it's not a religion. It has nothing to do with the word religion as those people um, understand it.
I actually
Judaism,
wouldn't say that, but proceed. We can
okay,
discuss it later.
Judaism is the culture of Am Israel, nothing more, right? Is the it's not a religion. I can explain it, and I will say that there is no such a thing as Jewish belief. All right, there is no dogma that you need to say or to believe in order to be a Jew. There is no faith in Judaism. So you say Judaism believe Jewish believe in heaven and hell. There is no. You cannot
Okay,
claim that assumption.
I
Okay, so you
understand your
cannot.
objection.
I'll explain more a little bit. You cannot claim. You cannot say what the Talmud said. The Talmud is a bunch of people who spoke. There is no, and they argue about anything, anything. No, there is no. There are hardly any. I would say. Agreement about anything in the Talmud. Okay, you can take the very core. You think that if a Jewish believe in the Messiah and you can find a Jewish scholar who considered to be a great rabbi in the Talmud who said there is no Messiah. Okay, I can. So anything can be said inside Judaism. You cannot say what Judaism said. You can say what it is inside Judaism.
Okay, so
So
I
what?
am going to stop you for a second because I want to make sure that I follow and also the rest of the people watching and listening. So here's what you're saying essentially. I'll try to speak it in my own, to say it in my own language so that it seems clearer to me. Things, when we consider religion, we mostly think of things like Islam and Christianity, of course. These are the big ones, you might say. And to be a Christian, basically, what you need to do, you need to have to hold certain beliefs. You need to say, consider Jesus to be a great figure. You need to believe that he, well, some might argue about that, but you need to believe that he has risen from the dead and that he was the Son of God, or maybe God himself also, and that he was resurrected on the third day and crucified, all the things, right?
No,
So,
not even that. You need to say he died for your sins. Even
yeah.
that. You need to accept that. You
Yeah.
must.
So and the same like with Islam, you have to accept basically the Shahada, right? That there is no God other than Allah, and that Muhammad is his messenger. So that's the right. La ilaha illallah wa Muhammad Rasulullah. So these are like core beliefs to the religions, that things derive from them. And your claim about Judaism is that Judaism has no such claim that you are required to believe in order to become Jewish. For example, it's a culture essentially of the Israelites.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
So I can give you examples. Jewish scholars, like the Maimonides himself, try to do a dogma of beliefs, the 13 Ikarim of the Rambam, but it never sticks. Okay, so I'll say Judaism have many things to say about beliefs and about faith, but it is a consensus that there is no such a belief that you must accept in order to be a Jew, to be a Jew. There is no consensus. It never were. Like, let's say, the Maimonides, excuse me, saying that if you, okay, so you need to believe to believe in God, but what he means believe does not mean like Christianity use the word to you need to accept that as a dogma. No, you need to understand it, to know it. He said that you need to know that there is one God, and this God is not, he has no feeling. Basically, if you think that God hates and love like human, you basically, according to the Maimonides, believe in Zeus. He will say, you and I don't believe in the same God. So you call him Yahweh and I call him Yahweh, so what? You believe in Zeus and I believe in the real God. This is the Maimonides, right? So we said that you must know the God. This is the commandment, right? Okay, to believe in God is ridiculous. You cannot command someone to believe if who commands them exactly if it's not believing already, right? So the Maimonides says that you need to accept that God is a one and he does not have a body. And the other philosopher, Chasdai Kreska, saying that even that is not, it's impossible. Because you cannot order or say to someone that you must think that. You cannot order someone to think. I cannot tell you, all right, look, you
You're
need to
speaking of the
think.
first commandment, by the way. Is that what
No,
you're
no,
doing?
I'm speaking about, yes, the first commandment and even the concept of believing in God.
Can you
As
repeat the first commandment for our listeners?
Anochi Hashem Elokecha, right?
Yeah,
I am
right.
your one God. Right?
Yeah, okay. Thou shall have no other gods before me. No, that's the
Yes,
second. Actually, that's the second commandment, I think.
that's the second, the
Okay,
second, yes.
sorry.
So
I am the
Chasdai
Lord thy
Kreska,
God. That's the first commandment.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So Chasdai Kreska is saying that if I tell you, you need to think that this shirt is white, and I will give you $1,000,000 if you think that. Yeah, you will go to heaven. Well, you see that it's not white. Nothing in this world would uh, change you. Like you don't have a choice but to think what you think. The only way, if you are wrong, if you don't know that 5 + 2 is 7, I cannot command you to think that. You are just wrong. And my only option is to explain to you.
Okay.
So, according to Chazai Kraskas, if you believe in idol, if you believe in two gods, you're just wrong. I cannot command you to believe in one God. It's impossible. It's not possible. You compel to think what you think. I can explain to you. If you understand, you got it. If you don't understand, you don't understand.
Then
Nothing I can do about
explain
it.
to us.
But
Then explain to us.
it's really not my point here.
Okay. Oh, okay.
I don't want to go into that. I just want to say that to show that the greatest rabbis, okay, the greatest Jewish philosophy think that there is no belief in Judaism. That Judaism is not about belief. It's about um,
Preserving an ancient culture, essentially.
exactly. It's the culture. So um, if we okay, so I want to say that many people will argue about that. That okay, so the book of a philosophy of the Maimonides say that most of the Jews do not don't think this way. Most of the Jews think there is a heaven, there is a God. I need to believe. He will give me. Um, uh, Most of the Jews do not doesn't practice Judaism as I
As you've
the way
explained.
the Rambam.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, they
most
don't.
of the Jews does not understand Maimonides. They think that God loves them.
Okay. Yeah, but
Uh,
Maimonides, when he writes, he explicitly says that he doesn't expect most people to understand what he's
exactly,
talking about.
exactly. So let's say if you are an engineer, you know how the computer works. You build it, right? You understand it. Most people use the computer. It doesn't mean okay, and we do not expect them to know to understand the mechanism of the computer, right? It doesn't mean that they are the most people who use a computer, they are the real representative of the computer. They understand what computer is. They are, and no, if it's broken, they cannot fix it. Only the ones who really understand the core of it knows exactly know what it is. So even though most people cannot understand the philosophy behind the culture, it doesn't mean that the culture is not based on philosophy. Every culture based and many people practice the philosophy even though they don't understand it.
Okay, can
It's
you take me
influence.
back? Can you? I think I understand this criticism. So, can you take me back to your conversations with your fellow Muslim and Arab friends from the medicine?
Yeah, yeah, so many claims that I hear that Judaism is a religion. Now, religion, the Jewish people are, it's a religion. So religion doesn't need to get a country, a nation getting a country, not a religion. If you, yeah, so we cannot claim that, we cannot claim that this, we have connection to the land because this, we are a religion. Like exactly like young Paul say to you, well, you believe in something. So this is not a viable claim in a Western world to have a claim to a land or something or to form as a national group.
And you
Like
believe that
there
it
is
is
no
valid.
what?
You believe that it is valid.
I believe we are not a religion. Okay, so we are Bnei Israel. We are Am Israel, and they don't accept that we are
Okay,
Bnei Israel.
just to make it clear for our listeners, when you say Bnei Israel, you mean essentially that's the Hebrew word for Israelites,
Right,
right?
exactly. If Jews been praying for the last 2,000 years. Just give us for God to give us blessings, to give us food, and to give us back our land and Jerusalem and everything. There is no um, one place in all the we say Sidur, the book of prayer, that the word Jew you cannot find the word Jew. It's only Israel, Am Israel.
Yeah,
Not a single place in all of our holy books, of our holy texture, holy practice, and our culture, we called ourselves really a Jews. You cannot find it. We are all with Am Israel. It is the way what we call them ourselves.
okay, so I'm gonna try
So
to push back a little bit on you and see where it holds strong and where it breaks, right? So, my first question to you is, what in everything you've just said, what is there that makes your claim to the land of Israel valid, right? If it's not a religion, then based on what do you do you have claims to the land? Based on your what lineage? Is it?
Yes, so you don't, what I would say is that, again, so we are a nation, an ethnic group. This is what we are, nothing more. Bnei Israel, Am Israel, Banu Israel, right? This is what we are. Every ethnic group have, in order to define an ethnic group, you need the language, you need the culture, stories, costumes. This is what make ethnic group, right? So you can take like say the Greeks, right? To this day, the stories of the Greeks, you know, about the gods, Zeus and Jupiter and yeah, and Ares and Aphrodite. This is a culture to this day. You know, Lord of the Ring. It's based on all the Western culture based on that. So a Greek person who go to Athens and sees the temples over there, he does not have to believe in Zeus in order to feel connection to his heritage, to his culture, right? Aristotle was a Greek, even though he did not believe in Zeus. So what? This is
Okay,
his
so
culture.
let me ask you
I
differently.
would say,
Let me
what?
ask you differently. Let's say that I know, okay, Donald Trump's daughter, Ivanka, okay? She is a converted Jew.
All right, you're going to the
Yeah,
convert idea. So
she's a converted Jew, which means her children are also Jews, which probably means her grandchildren are going to be Jews. One of her grandchildren could one day apply for an Israeli citizenship, and is going to get it based on the fact that he's a Jew, right? So, what claim does he have to the land of Israel?
okay, so every ethnic group have you know immigrants come to the place, right? Every ethnic group. No one is pure. It's ridiculous, right? So one can join our nation as a more in our custom. He can be a Greek in his like said the Greek as example. He believe in the Greek. He accepts the Greek culture to himself and become part of the community. He does not. It doesn't make him an ethnic Israelite. His sons will integrate. He is an ethnic what Arab we can be. He joined the custom. He joined the community of Am Israel. So this is how I
Do the Palestinian
it doesn't
Arabs that work with
what
you in the hospitals have a claim to the land of Israel?
as a if as okay. So an ethnic group is again it's not something always based on you know fact. It's a narrative. It's a belief. It's what drive people. So if they had this movement, so now they call themselves Palestinians as a ethnic group. So okay, they have a claim, yes, but they're not. What I would say, they're not present themselves this way. Um, I will get to that later. So I want to say something about that. So every Jew, so you said something that you said with your conversation with Mural that some rabbis say to him, they cannot it cannot be a Jew atheist Jew. So we know that there are many Jews do not believe in God. So he said, well, inside he believes. This is an answer that it's a joke. He cannot. He knows this is a Jew, and he don't know how to explain it. How can someone be a Jew and because he cannot point the finger of the problem? Of course, you can be a Jew, ethnic Jew. You have the costume, you keep the Shabbat. You do not, you don't need to keep the Shabbat like in a ultra orthodox way. You just don't, even though you are not working in Shabbat, you're part of the culture. You part of the holiday, you do a bar mitzvah. It's not all in. You part of the culture. And some invest themselves more in the culture, and some less.
Okay. But how does that answer the question of the claims of the Arabs, though?
So if they would say, well, we are an ethnic group, you are an ethnic group, we accept that you belong to this land. Again, I would say Jews, I didn't say that all the land of Israel belong to the Jews, but we definitely belong to the land of Israel, to all of it. We belong to this land, okay? Because because this is where we grow up as a culture. This is where our culture invests itself. The reason the Jerusalem is holy for the Jews is not because God says so. It's because we grew up here and we part of a nation of a culture is to say this place is holy to you. The
Can I
reason
ask where you're
90
from?
is what? Huh?
Can I ask where are you from? What city?
I'm from Karnei Shomron.
Is that a settlement?
Yes.
Okay, can you tell us a little bit about the settlements? I can try to throw some accusations at you and see how you respond. Is that okay?
But I want to finish my my claim before, and we'll go back to that.
Sure.
So when I speak to an Arab, they would say we are not a ethnic group. We are this place is belong to Islam. They would not say, well, if they would say we were an ethnic group, so I would say to you the war would have been over 50 years ago. Every time I try to push this point, I stuck into a wall. With my friends, again, I speak to my friends. I say to
What
people
is this point again? What is this point that you're trying to push?
they say, well, it's all about money, it's all about politics, we just want to live in peace. This is what they say. So I push it. I say, really? So I can go pray in the Temple Mount? And they say, ah, why do you go there? I say, why not? Why can I go into to a Temple Mount? And say, but it belongs to Islam. I say, well, but okay, whatever. But it's also Jews. Also, as an ethnic group, we are belong to this place. And they say, no, there is no such a thing. No, they go even too far as deny that the Temple Mount was there. They say, no one knows what happened in the history. It's not like in Europe. Here, they're more polite here. Don't want to hurt you, but they will say it. So every time someone claiming it's all politics, we just want to live in peace. When I push the the religious problem, there is no compromise. No compromise. There could be no. I couldn't. I asked them which part of the land. Okay, you want to take Judah and Samaria. You want to take Jerusalem. Take everything. In which part of the land Jews Bnei Israel, Am Israel, I always say Am Israel. I don't say Jews when I speak to Arabs because they deny we are Bnei Israel, so I must say it.
Yeah.
I cannot accept. I always say Bnei Israel because the Quran say Bnei Israel, so I must push it.
Yeah, I'm reminding our listeners that means essentially in English the word for that is Israelites.
Israelites. So
No.
yes, exactly. Also the Christians say that they are the real Bnei Israel. They replaced the real.
That's not the Christian claim. The Christian claim is that the covenant between God and the Israelites has been superseded
Yes,
by
yes, 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 of course,
by
of
the
course.
person who accepts Christ. But by the way, that's not the evangelist view, if I understand it
Yeah,
correctly. That's the Catholic view. Like if you go to many Catholic churches around Europe, um, you will see like a statue of like the church and the synagogue. It's a
yes,
common
yes, yes,
statue, and the synagogue is always like destitute and poor,
yes,
and the church is rich and regal, and that
yes,
represents the fact that God has abandoned the synagogue in favor of the Catholic Church. There is a new covenant, but the Christians do believe that you Jews, like you, I'm also a Jew, but that you Jews You are still the same Jews. You are indeed the descendants of the Israelites. It's just that this status doesn't matter so much anymore. The Muslims, on the other hand, they would deny that you have anything to do with the Israelites. They are,
So
if anyone is the inheritor of the ancient Israelites, it's the Muslims. That's what they say.
yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
The statues that you talk about, it's a name for this kind of statue. I cannot remember.
Yeah, there's a name. I forgot it. I
So
forgot the name.
if we define ourselves not as a religion, as an ethnic group, um, so compare that to let's say Indians, Native Americans. That in church you had a statue of the failure of the Native American and the white man who came and he's conquered, and they still have those statues that very shameful in my this racist statues. And they don't no one say, well, just let's demolish the statues. I think it's just horrific, but
I
anyway.
don't think it's a good analogy, by the way, but we don't have to get into that. I mean,
I will say to you that like if what we have what if Americans young Paul just claims that, well, you want to build a railway, and on the graveyard of um, Native Americans, and they will say, but this is a place of the spirit of our forefather. You will say to you, well, this claim of the spirit of your father does not have a valid claim. It's not about the claim, that it's about the culture. This place was a cultural place. The land of Israel is part of Jewish culture. That's it. Part of our culture is godlyhood. So what? It's not nothing to do with the claim. Okay, so um, again, so I say to Arabs, I am a culture. I'm not a religion, and they cannot understand it. It's hard for me. Like I said to them, okay, so let's say, so they say, no, you cannot go into Temple Mount. You cannot. No, it's a Muslim place. So I said, okay, let's say that um, China attacks Saudi Arabia, destroy Mecca, destroy the Kaaba, and build a Chinese temple on the Kaaba, and kill the millions of Muslims, yeah, and don't allow them to even pray in the Kaaba. And Muslims didn't forget their language or their religion, and every place they went, they just keep praying to Mecca. And after 300 years, some tiny religion, let's say the Jews, decide to be global, decide to be imperial, and conquer Saudi Arabia and build a synagogue on the Kaaba. They say, well, it's only for the Jews. So I ask a Muslim, after 1,000 years of Jewish temple on the Kaaba, does it make it a Jewish place? So if you ask an American, he will say, well, 1,000 years have passed, ethnic change, group change, the history shifts. So what? You don't. You even if that you even after a thousand years you came back. So what? You cannot demolish this place. You cannot do ethnic cleansing. So what? History change. All right, you were there. You were here before. So what? Okay. But a Muslim will say to you, even at even 10,000 years will pass. No, it's a holy place for Islam. It's not a Jewish place.
but it makes
So I
a
think,
lot of sense for a Muslim to say that, because
yes.
a Muslim believes that the Quran is the literal word of God. And if God says something, and you know, it's an instruction. It's not a puzzle. It's not an allegory. It's an instruction, right? So it doesn't matter how much time has passed, and it doesn't matter what people think.
So So you need to speak to so what I noticed that to an European mind, we need to Western way of thinking. You need to appeal to the fact that it's true that we are a nation. We are not. It's not about religion, really. We are a nation, ethnic group, and to to a Muslim, he cannot accept that. So you need to appeal to the religion. You must push on the religion part, as a religion, not as an ethnic. So you say, well, if you say that as a Muslim, you cannot accept that if you build a synagogue on the Kaaba, it's making this place um, Jewish. So so you say that I have the permission to destroy the Al-Aqsa, according to what you say. I don't want that, but this is what you're saying. So he thought, we say, you're right. It's not, no, you cannot, let's both have, you build your synagogue and we both pray there. But so he did not say it in the start, but after I pushed it with an example of what would you do if if it would happen to you? So he acknowledged that I'm right.
So I'm trying to I'll try to basically summarize your claim. Your claim is that when you speak to Westerners, um, you should speak in terms of nationhood. The Jews are nations, etc., etc., and it has nothing to do with religion. It's a secular, like it might have something to do with religion, but the claim essentially is secular. Jews are a nation, and the homeland of the nation is the land of Israel, etc., etc. And when you speak to Muslims, the Muslim world essentially, you should not speak in terms of nations, but you should speak in terms of religion, right? Is this your claim? Uh,
Um, you need to say that you are a nation, but you need to push on the religion because that the main goal is that the religion, because they must respect a religion. They cannot say this. They cannot disrespect any religion. Not Christianity, basically, not Jesus, the way they think it, and not Judaism. And when I say to him, he said to me, "Oh, you are Ben Gvir, right? You want to build the Temple Mount." So I said, well, yeah, like a joke. It was a joke. It was a friendly conversation. So I said, of course I want. Every Jew pray 3 times a day that he want the Temple Mount to be built. So many Jews think this will come in the end of days when the Messiah come, whatever, right? But when it's not the point. But when I said that every Jew pray it 3 times a day, we say, what? Muslim cannot say something bad about faith. It's not in their culture. He was shocked.
Actually, it makes also a lot of sense that nationhood will not play a huge part of the conversation when you talk with Muslims, because Islam essentially is quite foreign to the even to the concept of nationhood, because what matters in Islam is not nations but beliefs, right? So you could say that the Christian world basically had a successful separation of church and state. You could say that it comes from the character of Jesus itself, because Jesus was not a ruler, right? So
Yes.
it's always been something that goes, you know, it goes side by side with the rulers and with the kingdom and with whatever. But in Islam, Muhammad was the ruler, and the Islamic countries were never nations. I mean, it's new that it's a nation, right? It's a
By the way, this is the way Christian developed like that. That's because it was in it's a Jewish it's a Israelite concept. The word Israel means God will rule, not okay. So many things that in the book of Genesis, Jacob been called Israel because he fought God.
yeah, ki sarita
But
im Adonai, because
but
you've
this
struggled with
it's
God.
not it doesn't mean this is the real reason, because all the other words that with the el in the end, Ishmael, God will listen, and Israel is what you will do to God. Doesn't make any sense. Isra, it's a sar, it's a control, it's a government govern. So it could be that Israel means God will rule. It's okay. So anyway, we see that in the base, in the core of the nation, they didn't want a king, and then well, they wanted a king. Shmuel, the great prophet, said to them that it's um, basically against God to have a king. So, and in Judaism, the king wasn't a ruler in by the grace of God. You could say that in Judea, it was more like that, but most of the nations that was the kingdom of Israel, it wasn't like that at all.
Right. So anyway, I'm trying to go back to my thinking of Islam and this place of
Yeah.
religion. So it does make sense that you wouldn't talk about nationhood with a cultural Muslim, right? Because his chief loyalty should be to Allah and then to the Ummah, right? The Islamic world, you might say.
Yes.
So it makes more sense to talk in terms of faith, and also Islam would characterize the world as the hierarchy is basically Muslims are at the top, and then there is Ahl al Kitab, the people of the book, uh, who are essentially Jews and Muslims, who
Yes.
do believe in the one God. Although I would say that the Jews, in the concept of belief, the Jews are more similar to the Muslims than the Christians are, because of the Tawhid. The idea in Islam, there's a very important principle that's called the Tawhid. It means that the God is one.
Yes. Yes.
And La ilaha illallah, that's the part of the Shahada, the famous, that's like the thing that's written on the flag of Saudi Arabia, of Afghanistan, of Hamas, all that. The first part of the Shahada means there is no God but God. They would characterize the Trinity as breaking that rule. Okay, and also the most famous Hebrew prayer is the Shema, right? You could say Shema Israel Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Hear Israel, our Lord is our God. The God is our Lord, and our Lord is one. Something like that.
Yeah.
So that in that sense, the Jews are more similar to the Muslims than the Christians are.
Yes, 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 of course. The Maimonides was very influenced by Islamic, like Ibn Sina, Ibn Rushd, and all these great Islamic philosopher. He adored them. He loved them. uh, it was a better time, I think. The Middle Ages, the Dark Middle Ages, was a better time in Islam. Um, I would say that it even though they accept Judaism as they can tolerate them, but they think that they need to rule over. Fortunately, when I spoke even to Israeli Arabs, it's hard to accept that, but this is the truth. I did not expect this answer. So I said to them, if you want to speak about where I live, yes, okay, I'm willing to go out, but what I want, what is basically Zionism is, yes, we want to rule ourselves in any part of the land. So which part is okay? Just Tel Aviv. In Tel Aviv, Jews can rule, not Islam, not Arab, Jews, Judaism, whatever. And they cannot say yes. They cannot say yes. They cannot. It's something fundamental. They cannot accept that Jews will rule themselves. It's similar like women status.
Wait a
Some
second.
people
No, wait.
cannot.
I have to push you on that. Because I believe that if you were to say to that person, your claim is that he said, no, Jews cannot rule themselves, right? But if you were
Yeah.
to tell him, what if the US gave the Jews land in North America, let's say, I don't know, part of the state of Maine, okay? Becomes a Jewish autonomy. Can the Jews go and rule themselves there? Your Arab friends, I suspect, would say yes,
You
right?
would
So,
say yes,
so
but
the
when the
problem
time
is
will
not with
come,
Jewish rule. The problem is not
but
with
when the time will come, they will take this place as well. It's not forever. as in Islam, as in Islam. It's very hard to accept, but also Christianity. It's those movement, those religion thinks that their culture or their belief need to be global. We are a remnant of aged past that, in the past, before the Ashurim, I think, before the
Assyrians.
Ashurim, yeah,
Assyrians.
yeah, Assyrians, they started to change that. Everyone was like us, You're a nation, you believe in your God, you are a nation, you believe in our God. Many had, many nation had uh, universal, not claims, universal. They had something universal to say. So even though our prophets talked about one God to all the world, and even though our prophet talked about global peace, it wasn't in our core to to do it. It's not our job to enforce it. It was always a passive. Maybe all the nation will come to us and fear our great God. It's, and many nation was like that. Egypt was like that. Many nation was like that.
So what's the
And
point with that?
we are remnant of ancient past, but this is the core of our way of life. We are not global, and they are.
Yeah, well, it's it's um it's a missionary religion. That's what you would say, right? That it's interested in converting people, while Judaism is not interested in converting.
Yeah. So there are many in the Talmud, many things. Many bad things have been said about convert, but many good things as well about the convert people.
The converted
And
people.
yes,
Okay. Yeah.
very negative. Not about them, but don't encourage them to convert. And some is very just a poor convert. And so the Rav Shlomo Goren was the first rabbi of the IDF. He did the research. He found that all the poor convert, משפטים, literature in
Sentences?
the Talmud, sentences in the Talmud were written in the land of Israel. And all the anti-convert was in diaspora. So when you are in the diaspora and you are surrounded by non-Jews, you do not want to take to be in a conflict with them. You do not want to make problems.
Yeah.
You do not want to try to convert. They will get mad at you. But when you are in Israel and someone is here, is living with you in your land, in your community, and he want to convert, of course you need to get him to convert. Of course, make it easy for him. Unfortunately, the establishment of the rabbanim, the rabbis in the state of Israel, are still living in diaspora.
The rabbinical
In their mind.
establishment, is that what you're talking about?
What?
The rabbinical establishment. You're
Yes, they are not Zionists. They are not. They are for them. The Jewish land is Jewish government is still another diaspora for them. They don't understand the difference between Judaism as a nation that rules themselves, and they still live in the past.
I see.
It's very
Kalman,
sad.
is there anything else you want to tell me about your interactions with your Arab colleagues?
I feel very frustrated because they claim something. Let's say you're not a nation, so I prove it. So they claim something else. Then they claim, and I think, and I said to I have time. It's not like it's every day. It's the same people. And I said, well, did I change your mind? And no. So I said to him, answer me, please explain to. I claimed something, so answer me. And he said, no, you are right. He said it. And a week later, he, he claimed it again. So I think I bashed my head to a wall. Well, what's the point? Nothing changed. I don't know what to think. And those are not stupid people. They are doctors, the nurses, the best of society.
What
Is
would he tell me if I were to speak to him? Like, I would say, hey, whatever his name is, like Muhammad, okay? Like, Muhammad, why is it that your interaction with Kalman, why doesn't he, don't you change your mind? What would he tell me about you?
he would say to you that Kalman does not represent the Jewish people. He would say they are secular. They are not. They are secular. They are not. They're not religion. They don't. He, and he will appeal to Western ideals, like uh, like democracy and self-defined הגדרה עצמית, right? He will say 67 borders and all this kind of stuff. Then they appeal to those words in when they appeal to Western media.
Could you
But
get
when you speak,
could you get some of these people to speak to me?
I doubt it.
All right.
After October 7th, they became very closed. They don't in the. I feel that in the hospitals there is such a. A hospital is a holy place. No one wants a conflict to be in the hospital. Everybody want to work to get good treatment when you're sick. You don't want the hospital to be this place of. So the hospital is like it's like a very neutral environment. No politics, nothing. Many my colleague friends, Jewish colleague friends, criticize me because I'm speaking about this stuff with my friends. They say, "Why do you um, do you want going to these places? We want to work together without problems. We don't want to be in a fight. We just want to work together in peace. Don't go there." And I say, I believe that if I cannot talk in a good faith and still be friends with my friends, which I work together and party together and go to trip together, and I appreciate and they are good people. If I cannot have a conversation with them, then there is no hope. It's crazy. This is what I feel. I must talk. I cannot stop. Also, this is my personality. I many things that I hear are very disrespectful in my opinion. That they say it's hurts me to the core.
Like what?
You could say. When I talked about Judaism, um, I say, um, they say we did. I claim so Islam you took you say you want to you took from us, right? You not took from us. You claim that you are we are not a violent religion. We should all be Muslims. He said, no, we don't want we just come to fix the lies. I said, you claim that our Torah is a lie, you need to fix us? I don't understand what they say things that they think is it's good, but it's really, they say that their religion replaced us. This is what I feel.
But wouldn't they be able to say the same thing about the idea of Jewish chosenness, for example? Like that you say that it doesn't mean much, and that it
Right.
does right, but it hurts us that you think you're chosen and that we're not, right? So wouldn't they be able to say the same?
You can be chosen as well. You can claim it. No problem. Why do I care? So many things that people say is just a lie. They don't understand anything. Like they say Jewish supremacy. Paul said. Well, you can find that in the Talmud many things that been said like racist. The goyim, right? The nations are bad, they're cruel. So there is no Jewish supremacy in the way that Jews should be ruler like Nazis. All the racist, you can say that, I accept that, thing in the Talmud was basically that the Jews are more have more remorse, and the goyim are cool. So because this is what they experience. It's not about we are superior, that we are rulers. We should get more. All the things that saying, oh, if you dive in the Talmud and Jewish history, um, all the bad things that we said about Goyim, it was that they are cruel, they are killing us. We are better character, better okay, whatever. And by the way, it all came from the diaspora, from after the collapse of the Jewish nation. It's not in the Bible. It's not even in the Second Temple. When you are being killed and butchered, well, you say, well, they are bad. So what? So they said it. You can forgive them.
Okay, I understand. So,
Yeah,
Kalman, I would actually be very happy if one of your colleagues would like to speak to me. I don't have much hopes, but normally Muslims and Arab don't want to speak to me. They can cover their faces if they like, uh, but yeah. So keep it in mind. Thanks for coming on.
thank you.